and I hate to sound like this person because I'm not trying to just be like RP all the time, but I feel like these conversations do need to be had. Have you noticed that like a lot of young people, just i.e. men, just like lack purpose?
Yeah, they do.
Like
They do. I think it's because religion being God. Ever seen a true Christian or Muslim? They're the least purposeful people, right? So obviously our modern society is very anti-religion, you know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So cool. But we've not replaced religion with anything. And don't fucking tell me that atheism makes more sense, because atheism is literally the definition of purposelessness. If you're atheist, you believe nothing happened for no serious reason, your life has no inherent value, and then when you die, we're all gonna die. All the human inventions, everything that's ever happened, your generations don't matter, because we're all gonna eviscerate into dust, and it's all for no reason, right? So a lot of people believe this.
Keep going.
No, but that's what it is, in my opinion.
Talk your shit.
If you believe in that, cool, whatever. I personally believe in God, right? Whether I'm a good Christian or a bad Christian, I believe God is real. I believe there's more to life than just the physical, right? So even just the baseline of that will give you a purpose. But let's say for whatever reason you want to be an atheist, and I honestly have no problem if you're an atheist. That's cool. Now it's up to you to find your purpose. Again, I found my purpose making videos, but I feel like our modern society is replacing purpose with materialism and vanity.
Yes, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what's your purpose, bro? Oh, my purpose is I want to get to 50K a year when I'm 35. Oh, okay. Right. How are you gonna do it? I'm gonna work with this 9-to-5 company, and I'm just gonna hope that I can keep making it up the ladder.
No. I'm glad you've said this, because I hate people like this. People will tell you they're gonna do something, yeah, or they have this ambition. Oh, have you done any research in it? Actually, no. There was this one time. No, the answer is no. You haven't done any research into it. Like,
I've even tried it. I've even had an attempt at it.
You've not attempted nothing. You don't bullshit yourself. Like, it's a lot of lacking purpose, like a lack of just like wanting to do stuff, because it's crazy to me how so many of us can sit here and we can like glorify some bullshit, or just like people can talk about stupidness from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. but they can't talk about nothing serious or nothing like meaningful.
Facts.
Like, why is that?
It's crazy. Because our society, and you know what it is as well, our society wants you to be stuck in this consuming mindset, because once you plug out of consuming, that's only when you can truly think about your purpose. The way I discovered my purpose was, I watched a self-improvement YouTuber called Hamza, right? Mm-hmm. And he said something that kind of resonated, but I wasn't sure if it was my purpose. He said something about fatherhood. Mm-hmm. So then I went on a dopamine detox. Shout out to Iman Gadzi. For a good 3 weeks, I was waking up at 6:30 a.m., studying for 2 hours. I would go to school. After I'd come home from school, I'd go on a run. Then I'd meditate because I used to break up into 15-minute sessions, meditating 30 minutes a day. And the thing that made this really work was I limited my phone screen time. You know your screen time on your phone? Yeah.
It
was limited to 1 hour a day. Sometimes I had a 30-minute screen time a day, right? So I really wasn't on social media. I really wasn't on my phone. Mm-hmm. And so the first week goes by, second week goes by, I'm meditating, I'm becoming a better person. Like, guys, if you want to improve yourself, literally just do that. And the leveling up you will do is crazy, right? And as I was meditating, I realized what my purpose was. My purpose is to achieve traveling the world, making interesting videos, going to places like meeting scammers in Africa, going to places like Compton, going to the Indian rainforest, jumping off buildings, living an insane, incredible life. Not for myself, but so I can be the best, well-rounded person, so I can be a better father to my children. And then when I'm beside my children and they're going to sleep, I can tell them stories of, well, you know, your dad was in the Amazon rainforest, and they'll be like, oh, how did you do that, Dad? And I'll be like, oh, this is when I went here. This is when I went here. This is when I went here. That's purpose, in my opinion.
Nah, it's true. You know what?
That's purpose.
Just to add
something that's outside of you. You know what I mean? Because it's very easy to get consumed with, I want to do this for me. I don't think that's purpose. I think purpose is doing something for other people or someone else, or giving something
I feel like it has to be a big frame. Like, it has to be a big frame. Because I remember, you know what, Andrew Tate said something, he said something about, I'll be honest, when I was a kid, I didn't look up to superheroes. I didn't do none of that shit. Like, I looked up to my dad. And when he first said this, he was basically saying, like, if you're a dad and your kid like idolizes like a superhero, you've kind of gone wrong. And at first I thought like that was a bit harsh, right? Mm-hmm. But then I thought about it, and I thought, you know what? As a kid, who was like my hero in a sense? Who was the person that I was like, yeah, I'm trying to be him because he's that guy? That guy was my brother. I shit you not. And I was like, you know what? It's not until Andrew Tate was saying that shit, and I was like, yeah, man, he's right. And the reason that was my brother was because, you know what? He wasn't just a guy that could just, he got bitches. I ain't gonna lie, he had mad bitches. Like, I'd be like 7 years old, and like he'd be like 18 or something, and I'd see some of the bitches he'd be talking to, and I was 7, and I was like, swear, like, what's she saying after you're done, bro? Like, whoa, like, can I get a chance? Like, can I get a chance? Like, you know, no one's there. But like, the reason I say this is because my brother was so versatile. Like, my brother I remember he had his own radio show that he was doing where he'd do some shit talking about music, playing music. He could play basketball, then he'd go be playing football one day, then he'd be in the gym the next day, there'd be bitches the next day, clubbing the day after, then he'd be in education, then he even went to uni. Like, seeing him do all that shit and be in so many avenues was like, yeah, that's a purpose. That shit, obviously I was a kid thinking that, but that's what made me kind of realize, when you have a purpose, like, that's what you want to idolize, that's who you should be, because then you inspire others. Because even part of the reason why I'm doing this shit is even because of him, because I used to be playing like games and shit, and my brother would be like, yo, if you're mad good at this game, why don't you post it on YouTube? I shit you not, my first 4 videos on another channel was because of him. And I should have kept going, because I even had two YouTubers from the 2K community, like, they were messaging me like, yo, how are you doing this? But I fucking stopped. But yeah, that's a purpose. All that shit that you were talking about, and like, you know, somebody has a purpose when you look up to them.
Facts. And you know, it's crazy how you looked up to your brother and shit. And you know, when I think about my role models who I looked up to as a kid, I don't know if I had any. Obviously, I'm not saying my parents didn't do a good job, but I didn't necessarily look up to my parents. But I didn't have a cousin. I didn't have anyone to really look up to. I don't think I looked up to anyone really. I don't think I this might sound messed up, but when I was a kid, like, I'm talking about younger than 12, I didn't have I did not have any true purpose, right? Like, I didn't have any people I looked up to, like, super looked up to, like, yeah, I want to be X when I'm older. I guess you could say YouTubers, because I was like, oh, I want to be a YouTuber when I'm older, right? But even then, that was not serious. That was just, you know, stupid. But as I'm getting older, I realize how much of a role model my dad has been, even if I didn't acknowledge it. Because I've seen my father go from earning very little money to earning a lot of money. Yeah. I've seen him go, when I was 14 and younger, I used to live in the shit area of my city. Literally one of the worst parts of the city. There would be junkies who would piss on the flat floors. My mom's car got booted and like fucked up in broad daylight. I saw, like, you would be walking out at night and shit, and there'd be like drug deals. And even when we left, we found out that there was a stabbing in this little alleyway. And if you know anything about Scotland is, apart from Glasgow, but for the most part, Scotland does not have that much knife crime. So I think going through that situation and just seeing how my dad's literally just leveled up in terms of being a businessman, and just seeing how smart my dad is from my teenager years inspired me. Because my dad's incredibly intelligent, you know what I'm saying? He's incredibly intelligent, and he's very sure of himself. Because my dad's like the perfect example of why capitalism, in my opinion, is the best financial system. He added value to the market and he was rewarded. Like, my dad was always learning skills. He went back to uni at like 40 something to get a degree that he knew he could use. And now I'm not going to bait out what his job is, and I'm not going to bait out how much he's earning. I'm not going to do any of that. But let's just say he's made a massive jump, and let's just say he did everything in his power to learn skills necessary to, you know, to get money. Even when he wasn't working, my dad used to trade. Like, he's never been someone who's been complacent. My dad's always been proactive and getting.
Nah, you can never
money.
Being complacent won't get you nowhere, especially now with all this inflation and shit that's going on. I ain't gonna lie, it's eat or starve. That's how it's looking like right now.
Yup. And I know some niggas is gonna choose to starve because they're gonna be swiping on TikTok all day.
Yep, you're gonna be swiping on TikTok, looking at hoes, watching the hub, watching all them videos. Like, that's why I say lacking a purpose is bad, because, bro, I'll be honest, like, I notice as well, when no one has purpose, you almost end up putting your all into something you probably shouldn't. Like, it's so bad, it'll get to a point you start valuing people over you. Like, it's only now that I'm learning, like, I'm valuing myself, my time, things I want to do, places I want to be. I even read something and it's like, you shouldn't always say yes to every outing you're invited to. It should almost be no. Unless it's a fuck yes, you should honestly say no, because your time and what you've got going on is more valuable.
It's important.
Yeah. And if there's shit you haven't got done, don't go have that fun. Think about it. Like, actually, like, should I really do this? Should I not? Like, that's how people got to start seeing it. Because even when you lack purpose, that's when usually you invite a lot of disrespect, a lot of negativities in your life. You start looking for escapes, which could be drugs, anything. Like, the list goes on. You just have to be careful.
Literally, bro.
That's all I got to say.
That's all you can.